So this is the beginning of number 9 with it. We need to call another activity with it. So we got our main activity, that Java with it. So I'd like for you to find activity, the layout for it. So find your activity underscore example 1.xml. We're just going to do one of these files with it. Now remember, now you click from 1 as your main, your activity underscore main. You're going to take this to the activity underscore example 1. This is where you're at. So this is going to display the two text field and the two buttons in here. All right. So when you come to over here, I'm going to do as much as the design of this, and it's going to be coded at the same time with it. So just follow along with it. I'm in my activity underscore example 1.xml. All right. So click on the actual text. And in the text, I would like for you to do the subcategory. If you click on text here and you find the subcategory, it's called text view. So here, drag that over here. Just place it somewhere in the center right now. Don't worry, we're going to actually have two texts in a second with it. So here's text 1, text 2. This is the text 2. And we're going to also come in and just kind of drag this out a little bit so we can see a little better view of this thing at the same time with it. I don't like to drag the circle. You can't drag the circle, but if you place your cursor where you see where it has the two diagonal lines with an arrow, black arrow, and you drag it out like this, this will actually open it up a little bit more with it as well. So that's how I want you to do it. Let's do something up where about right here. We're gonna get a line. So I'm just gonna open it up and just as a placeholder with this thing. The second text 2, again, place your cursor. You see how my mouse, I drag it to a little wider like this. Let me move this over to, and again, this is all in design. We can still edit this. And I want to make text 1 a little larger font, and I want to make text 2 a little smaller font with it. We also want to drag across here the two buttons that we're going to actually do with it. So click on the button, and then drag over your button. This is again, this is activity underscore example 1 I'm looking at here with it. So this is my first button. My second button comes here as well with it. So with it. All right. So again, when we go from our main activity page, or I'm calling it page like a web page, no, the screen activity, to this is going to display your first text message with it. So what text message is it going to display? Well, if you look at your main activity that we've been looking at, it should display this right here, right? This text is sent from the main activity at today's date, time, plus my name. That's what I have here with it. So text 2, this is going to send across this string and concatenate with this string. Okay, so this is all from the main activity, right? So when you come back to here with the example activity with it, so this is what, when you click on it, these are the text that comes across in here that's going to be written in here as well with it. All right, does that make sense? Okay, so I want to make sure you understand how these files link to each other with it. It takes a few minutes for you to get situated here. All right, let's click on the text over here with text view 1 over here, and I want you to, if you could, expand your layout. Again, we do the same things what we've been doing in the other buttons that you can actually set in there with it as well. So in the particular button that I would like for you to do, let's do the first one, the text field with it as well. In the text field, so in the text field, this is the text field for text 1, just a text field right now. You see that? And in my ID, since I have ID here, type text view, and just put a 1 after this thing so we know it's a different ID from the second one, right? So text uppercase view, IED, and number 1. No spaces, just an uppercase 1 with it, all right? And inside of that one, I'd like for you to come down and give it the actual value. You know, I just clicked on it and just click on, go ahead and click on refactory, that's fine with it. And then you come down and you select your constraint 54, hit enter. I mean, there's no logical sense how why these numbers are just static numbers I just made up. There's no science behind this. You just, if it doesn't work, just move it over a little bit. But 54 is the top, 16, 16 is the left and right constraint with it, okay? And again, the layout width, I like for you to do a pull down and do a 0 dp. All right, no matching constraint with that. And if you can actually do the height instead of 55 dp, if you can change that to 110 dp. All right, so I kind of gave it a little wider height to this for a bigger font for us to see. 110 dp. Enter. That makes it a little wider for us to actually see with this as well. Let me move this one down here, a little bit down here, so we can actually have a little bit more constraint with it as well. So for the second one, if you can click on it, I like for you to go in right now with it. Again, just expand. I want to open up these plus right here, make that 37, keep that 36, 16, and this is 16. Right? So 37, 16, 16 for the text 2, and make sure it's called text 2. It's like it says, text 2. Text, uppercase V, uppercase V, I-E-W is lowercase, and number 2, no spaces, no special character. The third one I like for you to select is the button on this thing. So the button, click on the button with it. Let me move the button down here a little bit. In this particular button, I like for you to come in and look at this button right now for a while. So look at this button. Let me click on the value, expand this out a little bit with it. The top constraint I like for you to use is 36. The left and the right, if you can please use 0, 0 for me, please. So I'm going to place 0. I'm going to place a 0 here for the right and the left constraint with it. So top is 36, and the bottom is 0, 0. In the ID for this particular button, please change the button and have it the word button and have it underscore clickable. Click me, I'm sorry. Click me. Click me. So button underscore click, C-L-I-C-K, uppercase M-E, lowercase e, uppercase the M. So that's, it looks like this with it. So I'm sorry if you can't see that, I spell it out for you. Lowercase button underscore click is underscore, only one that's uppercase is me. It's important that you get this exact ID name because you have to call it the same name when we actually call the button, make the button work with it. All right. So that's that button with it. The second button I need for you to change, when you click on the next one, it leaves that object. Click on refactor. Click on the button again for me with it. So click on the bottom button for me. This time, in the button, what you said is button 6. If you can hit, just do button lowercase for me, lowercase that button, and underscore and hit and the word back. Button underscore back, all lowercase for me, because when you click on this button, it's going to take you back to the main page with it, the main activity page with it. Again, in here, we need to give it to look at the constraints and the value for the same with it as well. So the top constraint, that needs to be, I'm going to give it 22, and the right and the left, make it 0 for me, please. Okay, right and left is constraint with it. Both are wrap content with it, and just leave everything the same how it is with it. Okay, cool, yeah. So this is the part that that we have created. Is again, we only did this for activity underscore example 1.html.xml, right? We need to go in and copy this code right here. All right. So here's where the code side comes in. It's very useful with this. We can't go in and select everything in this thing on this design and copy. What we copy is the code. We are going to copy this code over to example 2, example 3, 4, and 5. Does that make sense with it? So it's saved already with it. So here's what we do again. But before we do it, let's test out other stuff with it before we do activity underscore example 2, 3, and 4 with it. So it's almost 10 minutes. I'm going to stop this video right now for this particular segment right now.